Well, hey everybody, it's Paul. Welcome to the channel. Just want to show you some strange features out there in the ice today. If you look close to shore, it looks typical. The blotchy, multicolored ice. But as you go further out, and I'm not sure if this is going to pick it up, but way out there, it almost looks like the waves were frozen. See how chunky it looks? I've never really seen that before. It almost looks like it's open water with waves, and somebody took a snapshot of the waves in action and they're frozen in place. Because that's exactly how it looks when it's open water, but it's not open water and the waves aren't moving. That's what's weird. So I don't know if the camera will get it or not, but I just thought that was interesting. Well, hey everybody, it's Paul. Welcome to the channel. There's been a lot of talk about blizzards lately, so I thought I would quickly share a story time video of my blizzard experience. This is going back about, I'm guessing 99, somewhere around there. We had a huge blizzard up here in Michigan. And at that point in time, I was driving a F-250 diesel, and I loved that truck, and it could go through the snow pretty good. And I was actually working on a cottage I bought on this lake. It was a real fixer-upper. And I was working with Gramps. We were basically gutting the inside and redoing it all. And they had been talking about a big snowstorm coming. But I'm like, well, they do the roads pretty good. I got the big truck, and I lived in the country at that point in time, over at what I call the farm. I thought, there's not a lot of traffic. A lot of times you don't even see another car. So we should be fine. But the thing is, that old cottage was real leaky. We were going to put new windows in. So we had the windows all covered with plastic, thick plastic. So you couldn't see out the windows really. So we had gotten some breakfast, went over there early and started working, and you could hear the wind as you do, on the lake. And you could hear like the snow every so often, you'll hear it hitting the windows or the walls and such, But we're working and making pretty good progress and not paying too much attention to it. So in Michigan, in the winter, it gets dark very early. So it was probably starting to get dark. So we thought we would call it a day. And when we stepped outside, I was literally surprised by how much snow had accumulated. I'm like, oh, this is pretty substantial, But I'm still confident, the truck and all, and should have no problems. So we're going and making our way, slow but good. And I don't know, there's probably 6, maybe 8 inches, but the truck's going through it. About a mile from the farm, there's, I think you call it a swallow or a gully. It's basically the area between two hills. So you had an area where it was a hill, you go down, and then you go up to start another hill. So it's that in-between area that will fill in with snow. I had noticed there were no tire tracks going through it, and it hadn't been plowed. I'm like, oh boy, we're so close to home, we gotta go through it. And I'll never forget, there was drifting snow. You know how it is. So it's like if you get 6 or 8 inches, then there's places where it's really deeper. It's kind of funny how just thinking about this, it's almost like all those memories come back and hit you, and you can almost feel like what you were thinking at that point in time. I thought, well, I better give it some gas and try to power through, but this isn't necessarily going to be good. And so I did. I'm going down the hill, and we hit it, and just in the middle, as you would think, it's like you hit a wall or something. The truck was actually like beached, it's like the tires could spin, but it couldn't push. It was like up on a bunch of snow, so just like the tires were just going, but doing nothing. So I'm like, we're stuck. You know, you do the backup and everything to no avail. We lived down a private road. It was a half-mile driveway, and it was probably another half a mile to get to that. So about a mile from the house, we would have to walk. So we were thinking, well, we'll try it. And we didn't get too far. Now, Gramps was getting up there, and I wasn't always in the best of shape either, but Gramps was older than me now at that point in time, and he had had a rod put in his leg. And I'm like, I don't know, this probably not. They always say, you know, stay with your car or whatever. Probably not a good idea to chance it, you know, going out in the cold. And but we tried a ways, and I don't know, we probably got 25 or 50 yards or something, and we both realized, you know, this is a heart attack waiting to happen, or, you know, we're going to get halfway and get too tired to make it or make it back. I mean, it sounds silly because it's not that far of a distance, but it is that far when you're trying to go walk through heavy snow in the cold and all that stuff, you know. So I'm like, you know, it's not good if we get midway. So let's go back. And I was smart at that point in time. I always kept a fuel tank full so you don't get condensation. So I'm like, I got a lot of diesel fuel. You know, we'll be warm. We'll just idle it through the night. No problem. And eventually, you know, somebody will come get us when they're plowing the street. They'll have to pull us because we're riding away. Little did I know, it turns out they didn't come out for days. An hour or two went by, and, you know, we're talking, and we're all right. We're warm. That's your main thing at that point. And so we're going to get by the night and just wait till daylight and see what's going on. And so it's dark now, and we see in the distance two lights. I'm like, wow, that guy, two lights are coming at you. Like, that guy's really got some vehicle to be going through all this, because it's kept snowing. It's really bad now. But then you could tell the lights weren't like paired like a car or a truck or a tractor. They're independent. I'm like, oh, that's weird, you know. So as they get closer, comes to find out it's two snowmobilers, a husband and a wife, and they were just out joyriding, you know. And they happened on us. Of course, they realized what was going on. They said, "Do you want us, you know, to take you?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're very close to our house, you know." "Oh yeah, we'll take you back, no problem. But we only want to take one at a time because the snowmobiles were getting stuck, and that way, you know, with the extra weight, you know, they didn't want to risk two of them getting stuck. They knew one would, with just one person, would be able to pull out the one with two people. So, like, okay, that's good. Take Gramps first." And they did, and they came back. And the funny thing, it's the only time I've ever been on the snowmobiles when they rescued us. And they're just local people, you know, that were out joyriding, two snowmobiles, having fun. And they've saved us. I mean, no doubt about it. It was such a bad thing. They had the National Guard out. They had county was taking forever just doing the county roads and all that. And so it was going to be a long time before we probably would have gotten rescued. But that is when we literally were snowed in our house, and like Gramps was there, and days went by, you know, and he was getting low on his medication, and we were cutting the pills in half and all that. And I mean, we were down a half-mile private drive, so that meant we had to maintain it. So that's when I'm like, I had a Massey Ferguson, but it was a two-wheel drive, no bucket, or just had a blade. I'm like, next time, before we get in snowed again, I decided to get the Kubota that had the end loader, and so you could lift the snow. You couldn't even plow it. Guys, you know, usually you couldn't get anybody to come plow. It was too deep. It had to be lifted and moved. But anyways, so I learned from that is one, always keep your fuel tanks full because, you know, you don't get condensation that way. And that way, if you ever had to stay in your vehicle, you could, you know, of course, you got to think about your exhaust pipe and making sure that's clear. Also, a good idea, I always keep some water. I take my bottle with me because it's nice to always have a drink. You know, I got one of those like thermos things, and I always keep some extra water in the car. And you think that it would thaw. It should be all right over time. It would thaw from the heat. So a blanket or two or something stashed under the seats, probably a good idea. Just some preparedness stuff, of course. So as always, you know, you live and learn. It's been a long time. Haven't had a big blizzard like that since almost 25 years now. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening to my silly stories. I appreciate it. It's always fun spending some time with you. So until next time, we'll see yous.